I have to record this session, and now I'm recording, okay? So, just to make sure everyone can hear me, in the center part of your computer, in the bottom, you have like a little dude raising the hand. Could you please just click on that to let me know that you guys can hear me? Oh, perfect. Perfect. So I usually, after I explain something, the way to confirm that you guys are fine with that is just by asking you to raise your hand. Now you know where to do it, okay? And then you can just lower your hand, okay? Uh, Whenever you come with a question, just, as I said, just use the chat. I receive your questions and I will try to answer to all of them, right? So first things first, as I said, I would like to, hold on. I forgot I have to change this. Okay, so this is Chem 2. Let me go to the, okay, so can you see my screen? In my screen, I'm sharing my Blackboard with you. Could you just raise your hand to let me know? Yeah, okay. So let's go step by step here. Most of these things I think you guys already know, but just in case. First, good news. If you haven't bought the lab manual, well, there was no way for you to buy the lab manual anyway, but the lab manual is available now in the bookstore. So it is, I think, $27, something like that. I don't remember. You didn't need it for this week anyway. I posted the PDFs, but now you can buy it. They are gonna send you a code or a link so you can access the manual digitally. The book is also available now. Now, don't tell anyone that I told you this, but honestly, it's faster and more reliable if you do it directly with the publisher, right? So if you haven't bought the textbook, you have to do it today because today is the due date for homework 1, right? I published a link right here, and when you click on this link, it's gonna open Sapling, and if you haven't bought that book, then it's gonna guide you to buy it, right? This link is to buy the access through the publisher. If you want to buy it through the textbook, because probably you have some financial aid or something, it is already available there, okay? You just have to go through the bookstore page, okay? Now, I'm pretty sure you already saw this section of Blackboard, and you have here the syllabus. This is a direct access in case you want to check something really quick. This is the schedule. The schedule might sound a little crazy. I've never done a schedule as crazy as this one, but the reason for this craziness is that I already recorded all the lessons for the summer. And it took me usually like 60 hours to record this session. So I didn't have time to record them again for you guys, but I'm just reusing those sessions. The problem is that the timings in the summer are slightly different than the timings in the regular semester. So you will see, for example, here, this is easy. It's just one lesson, parts 1 and 2, the videos, and these lesson and part are related to the videos. But for example, in week 2, you have lesson 2, that is only one video, and the first part of lesson 3. So don't worry. Anyway, the videos that you have to watch on that specific week are in the folder of that week. All right. Now, the other thing is you have here the homework, and once again, the homework is in that folder. So this this is a good way to know what you have to do, especially the due dates. And anyway, the due dates for homework are also always on a Thursday night. The due dates for the unit discussion and the unit exam, I believe this is a Saturday, the 26th. Let me just double check. I think, yeah, it's Friday and Saturday. So exams except for this exam, exam 4 is uh, open, I think it's Monday and Tuesday of the Thanksgiving week. So we are not going to have classes that week because it's difficult to travel now, but I don't want to put more pressure on you. So, and Thanksgiving week, we're just going to do the exam. That's it, right? But anyway, this calendar here is going to help you mainly to know the due dates, right? Now, another way to know due dates and all this material is by going to the lesson unit. So if you click right here, you will have all the 4 unit or the information for the 4 unit exams. So unit exam 1 is everything is included in this folder, right? It is difficult. I know your Chem 2 is a little bit easier because the chapters in the book are more organized. We are going in order. 1411 is a mess. You go from 1 to 3 and then to 5 and then come back to 2. It's a mess. This one is a little bit more organized, so I think you guys won't have any problem. But anyway, if you want to know what information is included in exam 1, well, just open this folder here, and whatever you see there is included in, except the discussions, but whatever you see there is going to be included in that exam, okay? Now, every week, I didn't want to add all weeks at once because you guys might get overwhelmed by looking at or distracted by looking at all the work you have to do in that month. If we were face to face, I wouldn't giving you all the material at once, right? So it's exactly the same here. I'm just gonna give you what you have to complete this week. And next week, you are gonna see here a folder for week 3, and then a folder for week 4, etc. And those folders correspond to these weeks here. So this is week 2, right? That's the folder. Then week 3, etc. This is all that you have to do for unit exam 1. So if you see, you can find the same information presented in many ways in black, right? Now, important parts here, and I think the most important one is the checklist. The checklist is another way to represent that schedule, but this is more detailed. So, for example, in this week, you guys, you should read these sections of your book. I'm going to explain what is this about, the video tutorials, when we go to the sapling side, but all the information that I included in the lesson is in these sections here, right? Then it says here, watch lesson 1, parts 1 and 2 in Blackboard, and then you have to complete the homework. And if you see, September the 6th is the, hold on. I know this is the day that opens, right? Yes. So this is the day that this unit opens. You don't have the due date here, but anyway, you have it in the schedule. And once again, it's always a Thursday, right? Now, I have here sometimes, not always, but I have here some suggestions. None of these suggestions is mandatory and it won't give you points, but if you have extra time, I know you guys might be overwhelmed with all this online stuff and many classes you have to follow, and so I don't want to mess with you here, but let me do it a little bit bigger. There. But these activities are a very good way to study for your exam. Uh, all these suggestions are in the book. Once again, I'm going to explain in a little bit when I go to the sapling, the tutorials and these interactives and the practice problems. All of them are in sapling. Okay, so you have the 3 weeks, and then you have, by the way, I put here some nice checkbox. So if you print these and you are OCD like me, I have to have an order and list, and I'm a special guy. But anyway, if you want to check here out, I already did this, I already did this. It's just like something that might help you or not, doesn't matter. You have here again the dates for the unit exam, and you have here the due date for the unit discussion. Now, this unit discussion is, I think, always, as far as I remember, is always the same date as the due date for the exam. I seriously, guys, please don't start doing this discussion the day before. Since I'm assigning this discussion the very first day of the unit, and is due like 3 weeks later, they are kind of long, right? Now, it is, you guys are going to work in teams, so I'm expecting or I'm calculating that you are going to spend like an hour per person working on this. So it's, if you organize your time and if you organize your team, you won't have any problems. If you want to do it the very last day, that's going to be a problem, right? So that discussion is already posted here. You have the guide here, you have the teams here. Let me go here first. So I have the teams. The number of members per team might vary depending on the length of the discussion. Some of them might be longer, some of them might be shorter. If they are shorter, the teams are going to be probably 3 people. I think for unit 3, I might assign only 2 people, but for this one, I assign 4 people because it's kind of long. You know what I mean? So you don't have to do it all of you together. Of course, you might want to have your team discussions all together, but you can have different people doing different things, right? And then just sharing the findings. For example, now whoever is in yellow is the team leader for this specific unit. You all are gonna be team leaders, so don't worry, you are not gonna escape from that. Okay? Now, being a team leader, I know, is a challenge, and it's even worse when you are online. I know that, believe me. Been there, done that for many years. So that's why, number one, you guys are going to be team leaders at least once, right? And the team leader, if, let me go in order. So these are the teams, right? And it says here the team leader is highlighting yellow. Now, let me go to that part since I already started talking about it. These are the rules for the discussion board. And this, if you haven't read this, it's really netiquette. They call it like that. It's how to be polite on these electronic devices. It's a series of rules, right? Right. Just read it whenever you have time. If you haven't done so, I really hope you already did this. Eh? But anyway, this is the part that I really want to talk about. So when I grade the participation, I'm going to base the grading on this rubric. So it is pretty clear for you how many points you will get if, for example, your ideas, argument, and analysis, if they lack of an understanding and discussion and blah, 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 you might get from 0 to 30 points. But if you were excellent, you will have 45 to 50 points out of 50, right? And then you go to the next one. What you're saying is connected to the course material, yes, or yes, you will have this, no, you will have this, etc., right? So this is something that you can follow, or you know, what am I going to use to, what am I going to be based when I'm grading your rubric, because this might be a little subjective, right? So this way we do it a little bit more objective, okay? Now, it says here, and this is the part that I wanted to cover. If a team member, all team members obtained a grade equal or higher than 85 in the discussion, then the team leader will receive an additional 10 points in their grade. Now, this is extra. So the team leader is gonna be graded as any other team member, right? But as I said, being a team leader is a challenge. And if you are doing these kind of discussions, if you are working as a supervisor in McDonald's, or if you are the CEO of a company, it doesn't matter. Being a leader represents a lot of challenges. If you are teaching, it represents a lot of challenges for us too, to facilitate everything for you guys so you work, right? So part of the success of the team members relies on the team leader, not all, because I know there are some people that are harder to work with, right? And since that is not the team leader's fault, that's why I'm not, there is no penalty, right? So this is just extra. Now, what I want to say here is that all of you are going to be team leaders at some point. So if you were lazy, you didn't cooperate, and you didn't care, anyway, this is just 5% of your final grade you don't care about. Imagine when you are the team leader, nobody's going to cooperate with you. You know what I mean? Or they might do things on their own because they want a good grade, but they won't probably respect you so much as a team. You know what I mean? So the best thing you can do here is, whenever you are a team leader, you do your best. But when you are a team member, also do your best. Don't wait on your team leader to tell you exactly what to do. You can contribute to the success of that team leader at that point, but anyway, you will have that chance at some point. All right? And this is equivalent that the employee of the month, for example, the employee of the month is not always, or the supervisor of the month is, that person didn't do the work alone, right? That person was successful because the team was successful. So it was a reward to that person, but also based on the rest of the people success. You know what I mean? So that's why I have that note there. Once again, you guys are gonna be team leaders at least once. Do your best always, not just when you are a team leader, right? Could you raise your hand, please, if this part is clear enough? Okay. Okay. Uh, so let's go back to here. And let me just cover this part really quickly, because I just did this same session for 1411, and I'm basing actually this session now in the questions they had before. So they asked me about the discussion guide. So this page here is, let me see if I can do it even bigger. There you go. You have here the layout or the guideline for your discussion. Now, as you can see, it's quite long, right? So you better start working on it. The first part, it says here, all communication among team members must be done in the discussion board. This is the only way and I will be able to grade on your individual participation. You guys can text each other, you can have Zoom meetings, and you can do whatever you want. However, I won't see that. You know what I mean? So I don't have the tools to give you a grade if I don't know what you did. So if you did, for example, a Zoom meeting, just agree on the time, on the date, on the discussion board, and after you have that meeting, just give me some, like the minute of or the summary of your discussion where you say, okay, this person said that, this person came with this material, things like that, you know. So I'm able to know how much you participated, right? Since your grade for these things is based on your participation, I need to know who did what, okay? So independently of what you do outside the discussion board, you have to let me know in the discussion board what you did, okay? Every single one of you. Now, every single unit discussion has here a purpose. This one is a little bit longer, as I said. Unit 2, I was doing that yesterday, and that one is more fun and more active, hands-on, and simpler, actually. But anyway, in this one, these are your goals, okay? Now, this is here research. So this is what you guys have to read or have to do some research on about before starting with this. You don't have to give me any summary or you don't have to write anything about this specific research. I'm just giving you like heads on, like how to start dealing with this, right? So how are you gonna understand better the experiment? Well, you have to read and understand that part, the Beer-Lambert law first, right? This is something that you guys are also gonna cover in the lab. So I think understanding this part is gonna be really, 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 but it's gonna give you the tools to understand the lab. So things are connected, okay? Then you're gonna do the experiment. In this particular case, the experiment is through this website here. Let me see, right there, okay? So you have the activities. The first thing I recommend you to do is to click on everything and see what every single control does on or doesn't do, right? Click on everything here, and then like these things like this, and then go to the instructions. So that's what it says here. And then it says complete the following experiments on the simulator, right? So for example, choose 3 solutions from the simulation and measure the absorbance of at least 5 different concentrations, blah, 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 which is, that means over here, hold on, my computer is not the fastest, but eventually, okay. So it says choose at least 3 of these. So for example, I'm gonna choose that one. I'm gonna click here to turn this, the beam of light on, and I have to record the absorbance. So this is the value you're gonna record for potassium dichromate, okay? And then you have to do that, I think three times, no? 3 solutions at 5 different concentrations. So you have to move the concentration. You can register your results here if you want to. You don't have to, okay? But this is just some help you have there to record your results. You don't have to read it, okay? Then repeat what you did, but just with one of the solutions, etc., etc., etc. So it's gonna guide you here, and this is what you guys can, I don't know, the team leader can say, okay, member number 1 is gonna do this part and then give me the results, or post the results in the discussion board, team number 2, or you guys can meet in a Zoom meeting or a Teams, any platform you have there. Share the screen and do this, all of you at the same time. The way you do it is not important to me as long as everyone participates. Okay, so you can divide the work, you can do it all together, whatever you want, right? As long as everyone participates. Okay. So you have here different exercises. Now, this is what you guys are gonna give me, right? So it says here, your team must write a document containing only the information below, this one here, okay? Now, the document has to be written in Word and then converted to PDF. Please, please, please do not send any Word document. And the reason is that when I want to comment something, it is way better for me to add comments in as PDF, and way better for you to read my comments in Acrobat or any other PDF reader, even in here. It's way easier. So do not send me the Word document, send me the PDF, okay? There are many ways to convert from Word to PDF. You can actually download an app to your phone and just take photos and then convert it to PDF. There are many ways, right? If you don't know how to do it, just let me know, eh? But anyway, the team leader, or at this point, anyone, I'm not expecting this from the team leader, but if someone else does this part, it's not a problem. As long as I can, I have a document to grade, right? So you have to attach this to the team's thread, and I'm going to explain this in a sec. You have to add the subject, final delivery, and then either using that paper clip there, or I'm going to show you in a second that you have a way to attach to attach documents to this specific message, right? Over here is where you are going to post your final delivery, right? Even if I know who's there, it's just like a rule of etiquette to the name of all the members and specify who's the team leader, right? That's something that you always must do, even if I know who's in that team, right? Now, this information here might not be exactly the information, the exact information in the experiment. It's gonna be more like conclusions, observations. How can you relate these values here to something else? So you guys have to think a little bit more about what you did, right? So it's some sort of lab, kind of more, it's like a laboratory, more lecture oriented, if you wanna see it that way, okay? And I think by doing this, whatever we cover in the lecture is going to be way clearer. You're going to learn even more after you do this, or whatever we cover in the lecture is going to be way better understood. All right? So this is what I want you to put in that final report, right? As I said, some of them are longer than others. I will vary the number of team members according to the amount of work that you have to do, okay? Any questions so far, guys? Or raise your hand if everything is clear. Okay. So I think, Michelle, you didn't say anything. Prince, you didn't say anything. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Prince, whenever you can, raise your hand. Okay. So let's go back. Where is that discussion board? So if you see, once again, this section is all the material for the class. Over here, we have the communications section, right? And the discussion board is right here. So when you open that discussion board, uh, actually, I'm so glad some of you already introduced yourselves. This is a very good way so you guys can exchange information instead of the can't remember the name, class messages or something. There is another tool in Blackboard to do this, but instead of having another link here, I just add it right here. So in this say hi to your peers, you can talk about whatever you want. I want I will probably take a look at this eventually just to make sure no one is fighting or no one is using bad words or things like that. But I'm really not gonna take place of this discussion here. This is for you guys. All right. Now, the part that I'm gonna be looking after is this for units here. So in Unit 1, I already created a thread for each team, okay? So let's say you are part of Team 3. So you guys are gonna come here, right? The first time you access to your thread, you're gonna get a button here that says subscribe. You just hit on that one and click on that one, and then you're gonna be subscribed. If you are not subscribed to the thread, then you cannot participate. Okay. So I'm already here, so you don't see that button here. But anyway, now here you can start doing your discussion, and you can change the subject here to, I don't know, for example, the team leader can say, I want you guys to do this and that. And someone can say, no, what if we do it this way? I don't know, you use this as at your convenience, right? And this is where I need to see your participation, okay? So even if you met someone else or you are texting through the phone or whatever, I need to see here all those contributions because I don't have access to your phone or to your Zoom. I don't know anything about it, so I need to see here all contributions. If I don't see your name here, I'm gonna consider that you didn't participate, even if you were the one that did all the work. To me, you didn't participate because I don't see anything here. All right. Now, the final delivery is gonna have the the subject as final delivery. You can use once again the clip here to attach any um, document, or you can just go straight and attach the documents using this, right? So once you attach whatever you want to, or you write whatever you want to write here, you just click on submit, and then it's going to be part of the thread, all right? Any question here so far? If you are okay, raise your hand, please. There we go. Okay. Anyway, if you have any question at any time, you can just use the chat to ask anything. Okay. All right. So, what else about Blackboard? Well, I'm pretty sure most of you guys already saw that, but once again, every week you will have a folder, and as I say, it has specifically the videos that you have to watch. Now, your attendance is going to be recorded according to if you watched or not the videos. Okay, so even if you did the homework, you still have to watch the videos. I have a way in Blackboard to create a report and see who watched the videos and who didn't. At the end, attendance is not it's not going to give you points, but at the end of the semester, I have to report that to the registrar office for, I think that's for scholarship purposes. I'm not sure, but anyway, I have to report that anyway. Okay. So once again, your attendance is going to be recorded according to the videos. Okay. Now over here, you have the handouts. These handouts sometimes, I mean, you have the handouts by lesson, so sometimes when in that week we only cover part one, you are gonna use only the some of them, but you are gonna use the rest of them next week. You know what I mean? It's just uh, dividing the handouts per week is gonna be very time consuming, and at the end it makes no, I mean, it makes no difference, I think. So anyway, you have here the subjects we're covering and the sections of the book, and these handouts are not complete most of the times. So what I want to do here is to give you some, or to help you recording your notes, right? So when you're watching the videos, I do the same in a face-to-face class. If any of you, no, I don't see any of you, no, but if I'm teaching face-to-face, I give you the handouts ahead, so you don't have to write absolutely everything and waste time, really, when you are watching the video. So you might have to just do some things here, record some information here, especially if there is an exercise. So if you have an exercise, this is just the statement, and then you're going to have to solve the problem here. I'm solving the problem for you in the lecture, so you just have to do it with me. Okay? So this is help, some help for you, so you don't have to write absolutely everything. You can find these handouts per week, or you can find all of them at once right here. Okay? In case you wanna just, for example, go ahead and print all the handouts. Well, you don't have to go week by week and click and click and click. You have everything there at once. Okay. Now you have here also homework one. Most, not most, but like a third of you already completed homework one. Thank you, guys. If you haven't completed homework one, it's due today, so you have to do it today, right? You can access homework one here, or you have all homeworks at once right here. Okay. Now you have also, you see how many how many times I'm clicking to get to that part. So that's why these quick access are for. Now, if we needed extra information well, the homework, you have in the homework all the information you need, but if I'm using a table, for example, during the lecture, that material is going to be always here, right? So for example, in this week, we have to know the electronegativities to know if the bond is polar or not, and therefore if the molecule is polar or not, etc., etc. So that material is right there, okay? Now, this worksheet belongs to, just remember, change of state for this week, okay? Remember that title there. When I go to, it was here, to the checklist, the suggestion is to perform the interactive activity change of state. So that worksheet is what I just show you in the week poll, right? So let me just show you. It takes 2 seconds. So if you click in here, you're gonna get the worksheet that you need to, along with the figure, you need this is like the guide to complete that interact, okay? Now, I don't have a solution for this, but if you want me to take a look if everything you have here is correct, or if you have any questions, just send it to me, let me know. These ones in particular, you can handwrite them and then just take a photo, send me the photo. This is informal communication, so we can do it through the phone just with photos. It's fine. The only documents that have to be written in Word are formal work, like the unit discussion, right? Other than that, everything can be just done with photos in your taken by your phone. You can handwrite, doesn't matter. Okay, whatever is easier for you, right? So, are we okay so far? Can you raise your hand, please? Okay. All right, Prince. I don't see you raising your hand, Prince. Shifan. Okay, I have a question. Let's see. The question says, when we send it to you, can we email you from our personal email? I'm having trouble accessing my student email. Uh, yes. Look, there is an issue, two issues actually here. One of them is that, well, usually I can see your email if you are using an external email. That's the normal situation. But it has happened in the past that there is some virus or something in the college, so they cancel that out completely. Because that, for example, there was a virus that came through an email, so they cancel completely all external sources. So if that's the case, I won't be able to receive your email, right? If in normal conditions, if nothing like that happens, it's not really a problem, right? The other thing is that when I send you guys massive emails, I do it through the announcements. So I write an announcement, all, all these announcements, when I post them here, I click on a box that sends you an email, but that email is sent to your college, to your student email. There is no way for me to include an external email there. So the solution to that is that you log in. Anyway, you should log in at least 3 times. According to the syllabus, you should log in at least 3 times a week and check directly the announcement section, right? I use the announcement section a lot because, guys, it's the only way for me to communicate with you. So yeah, sometimes I might be annoying sending 3 or 4 announcements on a day, and I know you guys, you're gonna say like, oh God, is she again? Wow, sorry, but it's the only way I can talk to you guys. So I have to do it this way. But sometimes, for example, if I receive the same question, I don't know, 3 or more times on my email, and I detect this is a concern that more than one people might have, so I just go ahead and post an announcement, right? So everyone else that might having the same question can see what's going on with that specific. So, as I said, you can use the external email, although I would recommend you to send a ticket to the help desk and try to fix that so it's easier for you. And as I say, if we have a virus or something, you don't miss anything, right? So that would be my answer. Okay, we still say you might need to call the WCJC campus to reset a password to your email. Happens every year semester. Yeah, you have to communicate to the IT help desk. Which, by the way, reminds me, guys, technical problems with Blackboard, if you can see or you cannot see some information, or this type of information like if you cannot access your email, or even problems with Sapling, like homework 1 is not working, those problems I cannot solve them for you. You have to use the correct links, and these are right here. So if there is an issue with Sapling, you can troubleshoot that problem. They have, I mean, because they are not new to this, so many things have happened, and it's like State Farm. No, State Farm is not. I can remember that commercial that they already seen everything, so they cover everything. That's pretty much like that. So they know pretty much every situation you guys are going to go through, and they have a troubleshooting section here. If your specific problem is not included there, then you can connect the people directly. If you have problems with Microsoft, I've added here some tutorials. Oh, geez, I didn't add. I just saw that. Well, I'm going to add here. I'm glad I went here. I'm going to add here the IT, the information for IT and the Blackboard people information. All right, so you have direct access. Okay. If we are unable to call them, you can submit a ticket with the issue you have. I had to do that. Yes. Another way to do that is just this time that I don't have that information there. If you just Google the help desk is there. It was there. Contact us. What? No, it's not that one. No, because this is not us. This is us. So you can chat with them, you can call them, you can set a ticket, you can do whatever you want. Anyway, the link to this page is gonna show here this afternoon. And a link for Blackboard too. I forgot to do that. Okay? So once again, it's not 100% problem using your Excel email, but at some point it might be. So just try to fix that, work with the IT desk, and I'm pretty sure, as Winston said, it happens pretty often, so they know what to do and how to solve it very quick. Okay? Any other question, guys, so far? No? All right. Let me see what else. Communication with me, you can use your WCJC email in Outlook or whatever you have, or you can use this link here, right? And just send me an email. Now, most of the questions can be solved practically immediately just through an email. As I said, if you have problems, for example, let's say you are solving homework and you are keeping you keep getting the wrong answer. I'm done. After 3 tries, I'm done. What can I do here? So take a picture of the screen in your computer and say, I've done this and this and that. I don't know what else to do. And I can reply to you very easily. From 9 to 5, I'm most of the time at my computer, but if not, I have my email in my phone, and I have that little pen that can write to, so I can say, see, whatever you did, no, look, over here, you're multiplying, you must divide, or things like that, no? So that's help that most of the times can be immediate. Now, as you saw in the syllabus, once again, 9 to 5, you might receive an immediate answer. And I said you might because it might take me an hour from probably, I don't know, doing something. And I'm not right there, but you are going to receive the information or the reply that very same day. I would say 90% of the times the reply will be immediate, right? Now, if you send me the email after 5, well, I would say 10% of the times you will receive an immediate response because, guys, I also have a life and I also have to eat, take care of some other stuff, and I might not be completely connected with you, but I promise at least the next day at 9 a.m. when I connect to my computer and my email and everything, you guys are going to read an answer, right? Same happens for the weekends, okay? If you have good luck and I'm right there, I might just reply in it. But I don't promise anything if it is after 5 or on a Sunday or on a Saturday. Okay. Now, there are, as I say, that 90% of the time we can solve everything just by email, but there are some situations where it requires probably a little bit more an explanation, and it's as easy for me to represent that in a piece of paper. I need to be talking and writing at the same time to explain you that part. So if that happens, we are going to agree on a time, and I say a date, but it's going to be pretty much that very same day, right? And I'm going to send you a link, or you can access, let me see, what is it here? In office hours, so I'm going to create a space that is just for you and me, and you're going to see here, meeting with, let me see who's here, meeting with Shifan, that date. So Shifan, you click there if you were the one that, and if someone else happens to be there and want to join us, please click on that link too and participate, right? But this is more one-on-one situation, all right? We can also do that. I'm trying to solve most of your questions just by email. As I say, it's 90% of the times can be solved that way. This is just, or if you say, hey, I, I just don't get the rate law, but the rate law part that you explain in the lecture, I just cannot get it. Okay, so we agree. We have a meeting here, and I'll try to explain a little bit slower, faster, or more exercises. I don't know. All right. So feel free to use the office hours too, especially between 9 and 5. Okay. All right. So I think that's it for Blackboard. So let me go to this part. So this is the Sapling website, right? And more or less, I'm not completely sure that you guys have exactly this view. I am playing the role of a student here, so I think it looks the same. But if not, it's gonna be pretty much almost the same, right? So over here you have your the next work you have to do. Remember, this link here is also on Blackboard. Let me show you what is it at, because some people have problems locating that one. So it's right here on the Getting Started folder, is right here. And this is just some calculations that you will do in your calculator. It's not going to give you points or anything. It's not mandatory. If you want to complete it, fine. If you don't want to complete it, fine. I don't mind. It's just to so you have your sapling linked to Blackboard. Okay. So your homework here, the due dates are already here. All homework has been posted, but you're gonna see it little by little, right? The parts that I wanna focus on here is this part here. We have media resources and media resources by chapter. This is all the chapters at once, this chapter by chapter, which I think is a better way to find things. And then we have the solutions to all and other problems. I'm going to come back to this in a second. Let me go to this one first. So if we click in there, remember when we were looking at the checklist, it says that suggestion, it was an interactive. So one way to access to that interactive was in chapter 12. And it was change of state. Remember, I asked you to remember that name. So if you click here, you are going to see the interactive is just like a simulator. And if you have the worksheet handy, that one is going to guide you what to do here in specific And this one, you are gonna do the heating curve for water, bromine, and benzene. So I'm gonna start heating this, observe the curve, see how this changes the state, and at the same time I can magnify here, look at molecular level, what's going on, etc., etc., etc. And then you have in the worksheet you have some questions that you have to answer according to what you see here, etc., etc., etc. So as I said, it's not mandatory. This is just, I think, a very good way, a very graphic way to learn the same concepts we learn in the lectures, right? So that's the way to get to that. Now, if you see here, you also have some video tutorials. These video tutorials are a little bit of the same. So I explain things in the lecture, but I explain things my way. And probably my way wasn't clear enough for you. Or if you have a different point of view or a different way to explain the same concept, you can come here and click on these video tutorials, right? I don't know, you probably do better with these video tutorials of what I explain with my very Mexican accent, right? So you can, by the way, I'm from Mexico, if you haven't noticed. My accent gives me away, I think. But anyway, you can come back to here and use this as help anytime, okay? There are other interactives here that you might wanna click on, even if I didn't suggest, okay? Now, the other thing here is the solution to odd end of chapter problems. So if you click here, let's say you are in chapter 12, and you have step-by-step how to deal with the odd end of chapter problems. What we're gonna do here, we won't have time today to do any problems, but we start next week anyway. The problems that we had to solve this week are pretty easy. If you have any question about those, just let me know, right? But during the additional session problems, we are gonna solve the even numbers. So you have the odd solutions here and the even solutions in these sessions. We won't be able to cover all of them, but I've been teaching this class for many, many years, so I more or less I have a very clear idea where the students struggle the most. So I'm gonna try to choose the problems that are more representative or that I know the students have more problems with, so we can work with them here in these sessions, right? But if you wanna do all the odd problems, you have all the solutions here step by step. Now, where to find those problems now? If you see here, you might prefer the printed version of the book, and that's fine by me. I honestly recommend you this version, which is already included in your sapling. You don't have to spend a penny extra, right? And I recommend you this one because if you open, eventually it's gonna show up. Anyway, if you access to your book right here, all that stuff that I was talking about, the video tutorials, the interactive, practice problems, all of them are included right here. So for example, let me see. I want chapter 12, right? And this is divided by section. So this week we are covering 12.1 to 12.3. So you can read section by section or piece by piece what's going on here. What I like about this is that, for example, it says here, molecules have partial positive and partial negative charges at separate locations within the molecule. I don't remember what is a polar molecule. Oh God, so you can just click here and this is gonna take you straight to that section within the book. So you don't have to go to the index and see where that section was covered, and you know what I mean? So, or I want to know a little bit more about this one, the ion dipole attraction. So you just click there and it's going to take you straight to that part. That's what I like this version a little bit better, right? The other thing is that you're going to have examples here. I try to use different examples for the lectures, so you have these problems, solved problems here that are different of what I say in the lecture, so you have more variety. But also, right after the example, you have a practice problem. So in this practice problem, which is pretty similar to the previous example, you are going to have hints to solve it, and also you can check the answer immediately, right? So you can check your work right there. This is a very good way to study for your test, right? Now, let me see. I think it was here. Well, somewhere here, I don't remember the number of that. Yeah, here. Okay. So those video tutorials that I was telling you about are also here. Well, somewhere here. I saw a video somewhere here, but anyway, they are right here somewhere. All right. You can see this figure better. It's going to give you some explanation, whatever. But also the interactives are right here. So that's why it says figure 1217. You can either locate the figure here or in the media resources. So you have same thing in your book, okay? Trust me, it's the same thing. Now, if what you want is to solve more problems, then you're gonna go to this section, end of chapter questions. So let's say I wanna practice more about a specific thing, like paper pressure. This is gonna be next week. You're gonna learn about this next week. So you have all the problems here, all the problem statements here. Once again, the odd problems are solved. You have the solution to all of them right here. And the even problems, we're gonna do some of them, not all, here in these sessions, right? Since you guys can see the statement right there, I'm not gonna give you the statements when we have the additional session problems. I'm just gonna say, okay guys, we are gonna solve problem 34. And you can have this screen open and just go to problem 24, and we're gonna read the statement together, etc., etc., etc. Right? What else I'm missing? Let me see. Well, talking about the grades, if you want to see immediately the grade you got in a specific homework, I think you get it as soon as you finish the homework, or you can see it here. I don't think I haven't solved any, but you can check here. Now, as I said in one of the announcements, the communication between this Sapling Learning site and Blackboard sometimes is not the fastest. So just wait. If the grade you got here and the grade you have in Blackboard is not the same, hold on, wait 24 hours at least. I'm pretty sure it's gonna update, your grade is gonna be updated in Blackboard, but if not, after 24 hours, if the problem remains, just let me know. I have a way to just do it manually, all right? So don't get scared if, oh my God, I got 92 and Blackboard says 49, don't worry. Don't worry, it's gonna be updated at some time. Sometimes it takes like an hour, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Don't worry, okay? All right, we have 15 minutes. Any other thing you guys want to know, you have questions. I'm trying to remember what other questions I have. Calculators. Calculators. That was another question I had in the previous session. The best thing to do is to have your own calculator, of course. It has to be scientific because specifically in 1412 we're dealing with a lot of natural logarithms, base 10 logarithms, power of 10, things like that. Nothing too complicated, but probably a normal, things like a basic calculator might not have. So now if you don't have a calculator, and you are doing your homework, you can just browse any calculator here. Someone gave me this one, calculus calculator online. This is just an online calculator that you can use, right? Apparently this one is very good. I haven't used it myself, but apparently this one is very good. Or you can just browse any other calculator. Now, in the exam, you are, for some reason, my textbook won't load when I open it. Yeah, well, this is kind of one of the situations that, Natalie, you might want to reach the sapling people because, sorry, I don't know how to help you with this one. And just right after we finish this session, I will include the links to contact. I know. Right there. Sapling help, sapling to just talk to someone there, right? Anyway, so if you don't have a physical calculator and you're gonna take the exam, when you're using the lockdown browser, you cannot open any other website unless I authorize you to do it, which I never do anyway. So you won't be able to use this type of calculators, right? But in the exam, I provided you with a scientific calculator, so there's no problem, right? So if you don't have a calculator, I think the best thing for you is to get one, but if you don't have it, you still have ways to deal with that part, okay? Now, if you have a physical calculator during your exam, when you record the environment scan, just show me your calculator front and back. Just let me know that everything is fine and I can trust you, right? And that takes me to another place. That environmental scan, and by the way, this is a Wharton policy, it's not just me, but in that scan, you have to prove me and your other teachers that you are clean, that you have no ways to cheat. You know what I mean? So do your best effort showing everything. Everything. It's not really something that we just want you to do it. No, it has a reason. So you have to, your responsibility as a student to prove your teacher that you are clean, that you're not gonna cheat in any way. If you are in a face-to-face class, well, I'm there, right there, looking at you, right? So imagine that the camera is my eyes, and I'm right there looking at you, but you have to include absolutely everything, right? Do your best, do your best. If you have a laptop, stand up, pick up your laptop and go front, back, right, left, underneath, everywhere, all right? Okay, it says, in regards to lockdown browser for exams, my ID is 3 months expired, don't worry. I'm not really looking at dates or anything. You can actually use your driver's license if you want as an ID. The only thing that we want to know with that ID is that your name and your face match. You know what I mean? Your photo, your name, and the previous photo that you took match. You know what I mean? And then, so it doesn't matter if it's expired, it doesn't matter if you can use your driver's license, no problem for that, right? And then it says on the exams, will we be able to utilize blank pieces of paper to write down calculations? Yes. And actually, very good two questions, Winston. Um, the two things are allowed. So when you solve exams, you are allowed to have one piece of scrap paper there. Now, during the uh, environmental scan, you gotta show me your scrap paper and just make sure that I have time to see that is nothing written there. If you just show it like boom, 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 I have no time to see. So to me, that and nothing is the same, right? So just hold your scrap paper to the camera for 2-3 seconds, front and back, and then that's fine. And the other one is the formula sheet. I will provide you. The good thing about the responders is that I can give you access to some specific things like the calculator. The other thing is always I will provide you with a periodic table. Always. You will always have a periodic table there, so you don't need to print a periodic table. And I'm gonna provide you also with a formula sheet. Now, about that formula sheet, you will be able to see all the information I'm allowing you to have in the screen. Nothing can be printed out, okay? But on the screen, you will be able to see all that information before taking the exam. So you can see in the formula sheet, for example, what formulas I included there. If I didn't include something, it's because I'm expecting you to know it, right? I'm not a fan of memorizing formulas. I honestly think that it makes no sense to memorize formulas when you can now or in 10 months access them and you can just Google them, really, right? But there are some concepts that, I don't know, for example, and this is probably not for Chem 1412, this is more like 1411, but it's what comes to my mind. For example, the name of the atoms, or the name of the, how to represent with symbol the atoms. That's something that you should know, right? I don't have to provide you with name. You know what I mean? So there are things that I'm form, or I would say a part of the concept that you should know, therefore the formula is not there. And there are other formulas, absolutely no sense that you memorize them, and they are gonna be right there. The thing is you have to know how to use them. That's it, right? But as I said, you have access to those formula sheets. I will provide you sometimes, for example, I don't know if you remember, but in week 2, I provided you with the table of electronegativities. If you have to use one in the exam, I will provide you with that one. You don't have to. I received that question during the summer, like, do we have to memorize all the electronegativities? No, it makes no sense. You will have that table there, right? And as I said, you have access to all that before you click on the exam, because once you click on begin, you are locked down in the exam. You can't do anything else. If you exit the exam, you won't have another chance to start again. You know what I mean? So, and also, when you are on a face-to-face class and your professor gives you the exam, you are not going to start going to the restroom and closing doors and doing things after you receive the exam, right? Well, it's exactly the same thing here. After you click on begin, you have to remain in front of the computer. If you, for example, recorded because this is what many people do, they record environmental scan and then they stand up and disappear. You are not allowed to do that, right? Once you start your environmental scan, or let's say once you begin the exam, you are locked in your chair, in your desk, at your desk. You cannot open a drawer to grab some cheese that you want to eat. And I just say cheese because I read that here. You cannot, if you think that you are going to be hungry during the exam, have your crackers or whatever you have already there and make sure I see them and I know what is it during this environmental scan. You know what I mean? So things that you won't do during a face-to-face class, don't do it then. Don't do them now, especially now. All right? Don't open drawers. Don't stand up. Don't disappear from the camera. Don't talk to anyone. Don't do anything. Anything. Believe me, it's like sometimes when I check these videos after the exams, I feel like the uh, guard, the, the guy in surveillance in the buildings looking at the camera and everything. How did you move? Where did you move? What are you looking at? I feel like that, but anyway, well, there's a way to do it online, so don't give me any reason to not to trust you, right? So don't move. Once you click on begin, make sure you're ready. You already know what information was in the formula sheet. You already have your calculator or not, or just go straight and do the exam. Okay? Anything else, guys? Sorry, I talked too much. Uh, on periodic table and electronegativity table on paper, no. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing on paper. Nothing, nothing, nothing other than your scrap paper. That's what I said. I'm providing you with a periodic table and any other tables. And by the way, once you click on them, they are gonna open in a different tab. So you can go, you can have your exam in one tab, and then in the next one you have the periodic table, and the next one you have your formula sheet. But nothing, 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 nothing can be printed out. Nothing, right? And I didn't really waste a lot of time clicking. Let me see. Let's see if I want to go from here to here. Not that much time, right? Another thing that is important and most of the people, most of the students don't know is that in the exams, in every single exams, you can go forward and backwards. So what I always recommend people to do during the exams is, let's say, for example, you have 25 questions. Go once and answer to the ones that are easy to answer. Finish those. And then come back and answer to the ones that are going to take you a little bit longer. Right? You are allowed to go backwards. If you don't know the answer immediately to one of those questions, just skip it and come back for later. Right? Don't waste time there. Biggest concern is that some of us have Wi-Fi that will automatically disconnect and won't turn back on until like an hour or two. Those, my mom is a teacher and it disconnected her from her virtual class. I know. Don't worry. I already actually went through this over the summer. I taught the 2 summers, so I know more or less what can happen and what cannot happen. And that's why in the syllabus I added some part there that if you guys are having, for example, internet, that the Wi-Fi just disconnected, that was it, and it didn't allow me to work, what you have to do is to take a photo of the screen. Of course, the important part is that what you have on the screen and the time and the date here match with what you say, right? So if that happens, you will take that or take a screenshot or a photo, send me that through the email, and we'll work with this in a way that it won't affect you. These are things that are not under your control, so don't worry, we'll fix them, right? But I need to have a proof. right? And if you say, my Wi-Fi is stopped, and I can see, because I can see that actually, I can see when I'm checking the videos, I can see when your Wi-Fi, when you were disconnected, and sometimes you can come back to like 2 or 3 minutes later. I can see that. So if you say, my Wi-Fi disconnected me, and I don't see that in my videos, and you don't prove it to me, well, I probably won't believe you, right? So proofs. Just screenshot, photos, of course, showing the time, showing the problem, and if it is something like Wi-Fi, you have control really. But if it is something related to um, the actual responder, something that can be fixed by IT, just immediately go ahead and like a problem, technical problem without you losing the Wi-Fi, go ahead and call IT or send an email or chat with them. They are being very flexible and they have extended hours now. So you guys won't have uh, a, bad, a bad experience, right? Anyway, as I said, I'm pretty conscious emergencies happens and it could be that one, the Wi-Fi disconnecting you is an emergency or some other types of emergency. We can work it out, don't worry. You are covered, guys, as long as it is an emergency, right? Right? Anything else, guys? Is 103. Anything else? Nothing? All right. Anyway, if you have any other question or later in 2 hours you're like, I should have asked that, just email me. As I said, if it is one-time issue, I will reply to you. If I see that more people are having that trouble, I will post an announcement. So be on top of the game. Check your announcements pretty often. If you can, put your email on your phone so it sends you a notification if something arrives, so you are on top of the game. I'm pretty sure, because as I say, I already did it during the summer, which is a little bit harder actually. We're gonna be successful. Don't get overwhelmed. Anything that happens has a solution as long as you guys work on your stuff, right? Laziness don't have a solution, doesn't have a solution. Any other thing has a solution. So don't get overwhelmed. Uh, just work through your stuff. All right. Any question? Anything you want to say? Just send me an email. I'm seriously here to help you. Okay. So if nothing else. By the way, I'm recording this session. So um, give me like until tomorrow because sometimes it takes time, but I will add this video or this recording into the week 2 folder because that was the discussion we held on the week 2, right? So if later you wanna go over, watch the video again, or if you guys were not able to come to this session and wanna need to watch it another time, it's always gonna be there for you. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that was it. Next week we're gonna go ahead and solve problems. Hopefully you can have a calculator because you guys do the calculations for me. I'm too lazy. You do that, right? Will we have a lecture for the last portion? Well, no. No, there are no lectures for that. I once again, since I did this over the summer, and over the summer is practically everything together. I'm the only instructor for everyone. It's not like now. You will see during the lesson videos, you will see a lot of tricks or clues or hints on how to do your lab reports or how to solve or do the calculations in your lab reports. I will explain, sometimes, not always, but sometimes I will explain that. Now, I'm also teaching the lab. I might be your instructor or not, because I think Professor John is doing 1412 too. But if you have any question about how to do the calculations there, just let me know. They are independent things. They are two different things, the lab and the class. But since I'm teaching both, I can help you. Now, if you are taking the lab with me, I know exactly the logistics. I can help you with the logistics. If you are taking the lab with Professor John, that's something that is out of my reach. I cannot help you with the logistics of his class. I can help you with the calculations, but I cannot help you with the other stuff, right? That would be his decisions. Excellent. Okay, so we can discuss everything you need about the lab. And actually, if you want to use these sessions to discuss things about the lab, I know some are harder than others, and especially 1412, the labs are way harder than for 1411. I would say that 1412, from my point of view, is easier to understand than 1411, because those are things that we can see in our day-to-day lives. These, what we are going to learn now, are way more practical things than the quantum numbers, for example. Right? We cannot see, we can just assume what they say is true. In this case, we can see things in our day-to-day life. So I think it's easier to understand, but at the same time, the math is more complicated. The variety of topics that we touch is also broader. We are gonna be going from one thing to another, to another, to another, and they might be completely different among themselves, right? So there is not always a continuity, right? So I honestly, I like way better 1412. I have way more fun with 1412, but I'm aware that it might be only mathematically might be more challenging. Only that way, right? So that's why that link that I put to link your sapling with Blackboard, that's the reason I added a math review, so you guys can be up to date with your math that we are gonna need here. And anyway, also in the lab, for two experiments that I know for sure you guys always have a lot of trouble solving the calculations, I posted a video on how to solve the calculations, of course, with different data, right? But I posted a video when I go step by step, so it's easier for you to get to the correct answers, right? But as I say, anyway, if you want to ask anything about the labs during these sessions, please do it. Or if you want one-on-one help, just let me know. It works exactly the same for me, even if we are talking about two different classes, let's say it that way, right? Two different Blackboard pages, two different ways to do things, two different things, right? Any other question, guys? Nothing? You sure? Okay, so guys, have a very good weekend. Don't forget today, homework 1 is due. So work on that. If you have any question, let me know. And once again, and I won't get tired to repeat this, whatever you need. By the way, just one very last thing. Sometimes my etiquette replying to emails is not the best. Like instead of saying, hello, Natalie, how are you? I hope you are doing well. In regards to your question, sometimes I just go straight to the point and I just say, what you say, yes, or you're correct, or multiply this by two, things like that. And please, please, please don't take that as that I'm being rude because I've been told that I'm rude. No, it's not that I'm rude. I'm just being practical because I'm replying to probably 10, I am receiving probably 10 or more emails at the same time. So I'm just being practical. Don't think I'm rude. I'm a good person, seriously. Right? Anyone in group Team 6, I'll be posting a link to a group chat located in discussions. Great, Winston. If someone belongs to Team 6, Winston is gonna post the link. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna log off. If you guys wanna keep talking here, I think you can. Even if I log out, I think you guys can keep talking here, and you can probably use the camera and the microphone and whatever you want, right? But I'm leaving. Okay, okay. Right. See you guys next Thursday. Right. Have a very good weekend. Bye.